Hello, I'm Hal Lublin.
And I'm Mark Gagliardi.
Since the dawn of humanity, one issue has gone unsettled. With the fate of the world in the balance, we're here to settle, once and for all. Perfect Thanksgiving meal.
That's right. Don't worry, everyone. We got this.
Podcast should have a theme song. Podcast should not have a theme song. Yes, they should. No, they shouldn't. They sound good. Yeah, but people are just going to skip past it. You know what? You're right. We got this.
Well, Mark, it's the second most wonderful time of the year. Third most.
That's right.
My birthday, then Christmas, and then Thanksgiving.
We have a different order,
Okay.
you and I. I mean, your birthday is still on the list, but I put Christmas first.
Okay,
It goes
that's
Christmas, then Hal's birthday, then Thanksgiving.
fair. Thanksgiving. But it's solid number 3, either way.
Yeah. But hey, you're making that top 3 list.
I'm thrilled.
It is time for a Thanksgiving meal. This is very exciting to me. I love this meal annually. I love every version of it. We've done multiple episodes where we've talked about different elements of Thanksgiving, and I'm sure that is going to come up in this tonight, what seems like kind of a culmination of a bunch of different Thanksgiving episodes. The different Thanksgiving sides we've talked about, the ways to cook a turkey. And I think we can also look at some of the outliers that might be able to make it onto this particular 26-man roster. Sorry, it's the middle of the World Series right now. I know
It's
we
not
don't
the
have
middle.
to have a 26-man. It might
It's
be
the
nearing the end. Yeah.
Would you be surprised, Mark, if I told you I had an idea for a structure for this?
Nothing would surprise me more, Hal Lublin. Nothing would delight me more. What's your idea for a structure for this?
Here's what I propose. Because we could go through a billion different foods
Yeah, of
that
course.
people have, from the classics to the weird things that we saw in the ref from that weird Christmas meal that I'm sure there's a version of that for Thanksgiving.
Mm-hmm.
What if we created a limited number of slots? So we had like 1 bread, 5 sides,
Okay.
2 desserts, and
1 bread,
yeah,
5 sides.
5 sides,
Mm-hmm.
2 desserts.
Mm-hmm.
And here's the first thing I want to kick off. Okay, so we determine the slots, right? Then
Well, we don't have a protein slot.
Well, we're going to talk about that in a second.
Okay.
We'll kick
I
that off in a
assumed that was
second.
coming. Yeah.
We'll reserve that.
Okay.
Put that to the side for a second. We're going to say gravy's at the table no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
We don't need a slot for gravy. That was a waste of a slot.
Yeah. It's not
That
a
is the
side.
sauce.
It's not a dessert. It's not a bread.
Yes. So I would say that we put up a nominee for a slot. If we agree on that, then it stays. If we can't agree, then it goes.
Okay.
And Ken wants us to include a beverage, but I think a beverage is weird because you can have a bunch of different beverages just off to the side and people can have whatever they want. Because like me, if I show up, I'll generally drink water. But if somebody's like, do you want something special? If they're offering
Sure.
it to me, I might want something like a lemonade or a natural apple juice that other people might not want.
It's one of the few times of year I will drink a sweet tea. If I'm
Yeah.
having Thanksgiving in the South, it's a great time for a sweet
Yeah.
tea.
So I would say, with all due respect to Ken, I would reserve the beverage to say that is like the free for all. Now, do you agree to those terms in general, Mark, that I've laid out?
I agree to those terms. I would go ahead and say in their entirety, but I do have one thing that I wanted to talk about first.
Sure.
Just to double. Oh, Padawan, it makes me so happy that you're coming up with structures. This is delightful. There is one thing that I want to make sure that our numbers are correct on this. So here is a little bit of by the numbers to make sure that we're giving ourselves the right amount of food, right? The average sized plate is 12 inches.
Okay.
A 12-inch plate holds 1,900 calories, roughly. That's about what you fit onto a 12-inch plate.
Not how I
An
do it.
average Thanksgiving meal is 4,500 calories.
That's right.
So what we are planning on here, if we're looking at 4,500 calories, we're looking at 2 full plates and a side plate. So that's about the volume of food we're thinking about having in this meal. Would that be correct to say?
That's fair. I think you're maybe a little limited in your imagination there, that you're just thinking spread out where you could build up like a Jenga tower.
Can I tell you, my brother? The only thing that I wrote down that I wanted to remember, because Annie and I were talking about it earlier, the note that I wrote today just says,
The stacks. That's right. Perfect.
yeah,
Boy,
Yeah.
this is like a mentalism act right now. What
It
we're doing.
really is. And we can talk about the stacks. And are there multiple layers within one stack? I assume at least one of the stacks we're talking about is going to be mashed potatoes, gravy, turkey, gravy, or mashed potatoes, turkey, gravy, or turkey, mashed potatoes, gravy. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
what the order of those stacks become.
Well, first of all, if you're doing paper plates, which some people do,
Sure.
and everybody's got a wide variety of feelings about that.
If you're doing it for a lot of people, paper plates is so much easier.
Get the giant
recycled ones,
banquet
though, right?
ones.
That makes you feel a little better.
yeah, get the big ovals, and then that's more than 12 inches. You can fit more food there. But plate be damned. What we're going to
No. Hold on. Don't you plate be damned me, because I did have one other question I wanted to ask.
Okay, go
This
ahead.
is going to play, if we're creating a meal here. You don't start a meal with just loose food in your hands. No.
Sometimes.
You start with, well, yes, sometimes with loose food in your hands if it's a box of Cheez-Its. Yes, I get that. That's loose food in your hands. No, we're going to figure out what our plate looks like. Do we have a 12-inch plate? Is it divided? Does it have 3 sections on it? Do we want things to run together? Am I going to get to build my napkin dams?
You absolutely can. Well, here also is what I'm going to say. I think we're going to create a meal where whoever is there, assuming that there's going to be something like a vegan can have, it might not be as much, or sometimes a vegan will bring their own food, but this is like a shotgun. We're firing the widest possible spread, but
Okay.
not everybody's going to want all 5 sides. I'm sure there
Okay,
will be a
so
side there
this
that
is-
I would not eat.
Great. I'm glad we're clarifying this, because best Thanksgiving meal, if we're crafting the perfect Thanksgiving meal, I think there's 2 different ways we could look at it. We could be crafting personally the perfect Thanksgiving plate, or we could be crafting communally the perfect Thanksgiving table. It sounds like what we're creating is the perfect Thanksgiving table.
That's correct. Yes, the meal
Fantastic.
overall. So this is a spread.
So I don't need to
Table,
worry
the spread meal.
about
don't have to worry
2
about
full
plates.
plates and a side plate and
math.
all my numbers work that I did.
Correct.
Great. I appreciate that there will be no math.
Now let me kick this off by possibly
Yes.
shattering my own structure, which is very me.
Okay.
Do you think there should be 1 protein or 2? I have a feeling about this. I'm curious what yours is.
I think there should be 2 proteins. I think there should be 2 proteins, a primary and a secondary. And I think the primary is going to have to be a turkey. I'm sorry, Norman Rockwell ruined me visually. I want a turkey on that Thanksgiving table.
I agree with you that turkey is the primary protein. I disagree that there needs to be another one. I think, and this is weird to say about Thanksgiving, and I'm doing this in the interest of being a little bit stringent with our criteria, with sticking with the slot method. We don't need a ham. You don't need a barbecued ribs. You don't need
No.
a second thing. This
No.
is a turkey holiday. You can save that for another time. That's my feeling personally. Like, let's build. This is one area where I'm even more traditional than I am in others.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
Am I accurately characterizing myself here?
I think you're accurately characterizing yourself. Yes.
Wait, I did it.
I just asked moments ago if the best plate was for the individual or for the community that is eating together.
Yes.
I would argue that if what we are looking at is the best table, a second protein, there's always a vegetarian, or there's always a pescatarian, or there's always somebody who doesn't. You know what I mean? There's always somebody who's going to want an alternative. And I think for me and for the table that I want to set, if there's an alternate vegetarian protein option that we can still hit with, because for me it's more about the spices. I want that sage, I want that bay leaf, I want that coriander, that cumin. If there's another side protein that we can really infuse with those Thanksgiving flavors, I'm all for having a second protein on our table.
Isn't coriander cilantro?
The seed, turns out once they grow up into full leaves, yes, but coriander seeds weirdly taste more like Fruit Loops.
We're very different Thanksgiving turkeys. That's fine. We're not going to talk about the specific type. We're just going to talk, I think, in general about the meal. It doesn't have to be the specific version of it unless there are very well-known variations on something. Like, for example, if you were to say sweet potatoes, you could say, are they baked? Are they in a
Pie or
casserole? Are
casserole,
they,
or- yeah.
So that is the exception. So, okay.
All right.
We're going to say turkey is protein number 1. Number 2 is We'll say something vegetarian or vegan. Are we talking about like a tofurkey?
I'm talking a tofurkey. I'm talking like a seitan. Yeah. Yeah.
Are you
And
a
it
seitan
could
worshiper?
be a fake meat. I do worship seitan. I go up to Poughkeepsie, New York once a year around the Halloween holiday, or Samhain, as as we like to call it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so that is our proteins settled. We have a traditional turkey, and then we have a vegan version of a turkey, be it tofurkey or seitan. Doesn't matter which one.
Yeah.
Right?
Tofurkey, like there's a bunch of them. Impossible would be weird because then it would just be a big hunk of ground beef. Though Impossible meatballs could be really good. Like, come on, get all those flavors in there, the sage and all that, into some Impossible meatballs, and then hit them with that gravy. Mwah.
Hey, here's a big mound of Gardein. We put it here on this plate for you and put a blowtorch to it. Enjoy. How are you going to?
What is Gardein?
Take this ice cream scoop. It's the fake chicken. Or, we have a whole plate of chicken. CHIK''N.
See, that makes sense. Chicken, but spelled weird. Garden, but spelled weird makes me think that you're trying to pass off meat as vegetables and not vegetables as meat. Like you're going to give me a salad, but really you're like, I know it looks and tastes just like vegetables, doesn't it? That's nothing but pure owl. Pure owl.
At Gardein, we take nocturnal birds of prey, put them whole into a grinder, and then make them look like tomato slices. And we sure hope you'll give us a chance, because not only does it not really look like tomato, but it will make you sick. We don't cook it. And you can't either, by law. Gardein, take that.
Gardein. Birds of prey. All right. So, yeah, I think that's I think a turkey and a vegan option.
Okay. You want to talk bread?
Yeah. So what are our contenders for bread? I think for me, there's, I want there to be two.
Yeah.
I don't know that there are two.
Yeah, it's too much. One is cornbread. That feels like a very traditional
I think
Southern.
that's the only one. What's the other one?
Here's the thing, though. There's a whole cornbread loaf in the dressing that we make in the Kelly family recipe.
Yeah, we do a full cast iron pan of cornbread as our dressing. Yeah, you know what? You're not wrong.
So there's your dressing. I would say my number one contender would be the yeast roll. It's soft. It's great heated up. The butter melts right on it. It also is generally large enough that you could cut it, make a little tiny sandwich at the table, put protein in there with some gravy.
Yeah, there's usually a little bit of stretch within the dough itself too. So there's a little bit of gluten in there that'll hold together if you want to do little sandwiches out of things, which cornbread doesn't have. But I think you pointing out, I didn't even think about the fact that the stuffing is going to be, because we haven't gotten there yet, but cornbread stuffing is going to have to win. I'm
Dressing
a Southerner by
stuffing.
raisin.
You mean you're Southern by raisins?
By
the
raisin.
California raisins are your grandparents, yeah?
Yeah.
Is there another type of bread? Cornbread aside.
I think cornbread gets eliminated because it's going to be our victor in the other thing. The yeast roll is great.
Yeah.
The nice thing about a yeast roll, my mom makes yeast rolls. I think they're yeast rolls. They're Sister Schubert's. They're sort of par-baked rolls.
Yes. Yeah, they're kind of square, kind of flatter. Mm-hmm. Those are yeast rolls, yes.
Yeah. I think a par-baked roll is great because you throw it in last second just to heat it up, and it fills whatever the space is with Thanksgiving dinner is ready smell. It's like you smell that bread, you start salivating, you're ready for that meal, and it's just about time to go sit down. I think that's a great one.
There is another one, though.
What? Is it cinnamon toast?
Crunch. It's three words.
Is it a baguette?
No, it is not a baguette.
Is it pancakes?
No, these are all great ideas, though. Keep going.
Pancakes.
Three more. Give me three more real fast.
Three more. Okay. Tortillas.
Nope.
Hush puppies.
No.
Challah.
No, definitely not. All right. Three words. Kings. Hawaiian.
Rolls. Oh, you
harder to make sandwiches with, but very good. There's a sweetness, so when you dip it in the gravy, which you kind of have to do, it creates like a really, like all of a sudden everything has a really deep flavor with only two things really combining, and they're small, so you eat a lot of them. I don't know if that's a good thing.
Oh, that's really good. The nice thing about a King's Hawaiian roll too is I've got a case that I keep some electronics in that came with a grid of foam, and you could customize that grid of foam to whatever shape you wanted. And it was very easy to just tear it off because it's one big grid. A King's Hawaiian sheet is really just one big bread grid. That makes it easy to tear off at perfect angles. You want a hot dog? Boom, 2 in a row. You want a foot-long hot dog? Boom, 3 in a row. All still stuck together. You want a banana sandwich? You can make a banana sandwich. I don't know why you'd want one, but you could theoretically do that.
It's the battleship of foods because it can contain a lot of different sandwiches within it, and you have to guess which ones people are going to eat.
Yeah.
And then you sink the bread into your stomach. Perfect metaphor. Good job, Lublin.
Is King's Hawaiian a brand of yeast roll?
Well,
so we could say yeast roll, but it's a specific. It's got to have yeast in it. It's risen.
I don't know. I mean, most breads have yeast in them. Like sourdough has yeast, but yeast rolls are that specific, very chewy type.
Right.
And I think the King's Hawaiian are a little bit lighter.
They're a little dense. I was going to say they were denser. I guess the yeast rolls that I'm used to, those Sister Schubert ones for home use and then out in the world, we were O'Charlie's back where I grew up and Aubrey's, and the restaurants we had those super airy, super buttery, made everything smell like yeast rolls. You know what I mean? Like they were double yeasted.
Yeah.
I don't know that it's tough. The King's Hawaiian is a great choice. The ability to, but you're not going to bring out a grid of King's Hawaiian. You're going to break them apart into individual King's Hawaiian rolls and put them in a basket. Unless you're a monster and you just make like a Bauhaus stack of King's Hawaiian rolls on your table. We will eat this in order.
I like to stack them up and make a Rubik's Cube of King's Hawaiian. And then you have to twist it into make sure all the sides line up properly. And then you can have one piece and that is it until next year. We've been eating the same cube of King's Hawaiian bread. We get sick every year, sicker and sicker. It keeps getting worse.
The whole Rubik's Cube is green now. You can't even tell what the colors are.
Mark, I've been married for 17 years. That thing no longer even remotely resembles anything that was once King's Hawaiian's bread. It just looks like the Crypt Keeper's abdomen. That's what it looks like. And we just keep
interior or exterior view.
Correct. Well, that's the beauty. You have to line it up. You get the inside and the outside. And he is ripped.
I guess I never really thought about the Crypt Keeper being ripped, but sure, we never saw his abs. He was always in like a tuxedo or scuba gear or whatever topic they had that week.
We don't know what's under those clothes. He's probably keeps his. I keep myself in really good shape.
Yeah, he better because boy, that face ain't nothing. All right. It sounds like we've got our protein. Do we have our bread? Is our bread the King's Hawaiian or is it the yeast roll?
I think it's the yeast roll.
I think it's the yeast roll. I think it's got to be. It can't be a specific brand of something necessarily, unless it's. I don't think King's has earned iconic enough status to be on the perfect Thanksgiving plate.
Wow. Okay. That's a bold statement, but we'll go with it.
Well, look, I feel like if there's going to be brands on here, you better be so associated with Thanksgiving that you're undeniable. And I don't even know if there are any of those.
Well, we're going to find out because we've got our protein, we've got our bread, we have the sides and dessert to go. We're going to take a break and then come back. Our table is filling up. You can smell the food take shape on the table as it gets beamed in from the Starship Enterprise. That made sense in my head.
What?
Bye-bye. We'll be right back.
Dr. Game Show is a podcast where we play games submitted by listeners with callers from all around the world, and this is a game to get you to listen. Name 3 reasons to listen to Dr. Game Show. Kyla and Lunar from Freedom, Maine.
Dishes, folding the laundry, doing cat grooming.
Okay, thank you. Great.
Oh, things you could do while listening. Yeah.
I love that I'm like, why do you listen to this show? And Lunar's like, dishes. Fantastic. Manolo.
Number 1 is that it will inspire you. You're going to be like, oh, I could do that.
That's all we have time for, but you'll just have to find Dr. Game Show on Maximum Fun to find out for yourself.
Do you like stuff, things, items? Because MaxFunStore.com has tons of stuff from a bunch of shows. Want a shirt? We got them. Bumper stickers? No need to honk, they're here. Drinkware, sweatshirts, tiny bandana for your dog. It can all be yours at MaxFunStore.com. And if you're a Max Fun member, keep an eye on your inbox because you get a discount. Now is the time to shop for the Max Fun fans in your life, including yourself. You deserve it. MaxFunStore.com. Go get something special or kinda dumb. We've got it all.
Okay.
All right.
Sides, 5 slots.
Hal, will you turn on a light in your home? Now it's as people of the world, we record this at right around dusk. And when we start an episode, it's wonderful. I get to see Hal's face and we are having so much fun enjoying one another. And then as the episode continues on, he is only lit by, oh no, he's backing away. He's backing away, so he's not even lit by the screen. You are so only lit by the screen that you look like you should be in the video for Bohemian Rhapsody when they do the orchestral part at the end. Like I could slot this version of you into that music video.
Fine.
Will you turn a light on? I want to see the Kenners behind you.
All right. I'm turning it on right now.
Oh, good.
Under protest.
Yeah.
There. Is that enough light for you?
Yes. You know what? I'm going to do a little bit in here too. All right. Where were we? We were talking about side dishes.
Yes. We have 5 slots for side dishes.
All right.
I think one of them we've already established is stuffing/dressing. That has to be at the table.
Yes.
But the rest of it is negotiable. Do you want to throw out? I'll throw that out as the first candidate. It is agreed and passed. The motion has passed. Mm-hmm. That is on the table. Do you have something you would like to nominate, Mark?
I do have things I'd like to nominate, but I'd like a little more specificity within the realm of sides. I think we can break that down slightly further. Are we looking for 4 starches and 1 veg, or are we looking for 3 starches, 1 veg? I doubt we are looking for 3 veg and 2 starches.
I would posit that over the course of nominating things, that will take shape on its own, rather than feel restricted right now, Mark. That it has to be a certain number of starches and vegetables. We don't have to get that granular. We have something that is a starch. You can nominate something else that you think belongs on that table, on the perfect Thanksgiving table. I guarantee you that something green outside of the King's Hawaiian Cube will show up on this table.
All right. Then I will use one of my nominations for the green bean casserole, just to make sure we get at least 1 green in there.
You know what I like? The idea of a green bean casserole. You know what I've never enjoyed? Any green bean casserole. And
you don't like mushrooms though, right?
I don't, but I've tried to make it with like cream of chicken, which is very similar kind of idea. Yeah. I've tried to make it multiple times, multiple ways.
How?
And I've had it at almost every Thanksgiving table that I've ever been seated at. And I'm a pretty good cook. And I can't seem to make it properly. It doesn't come out particularly well, and that's following the instructions to a T. And I've never enjoyed it so much that I feel like it has to be at the table. And plus, it's Really Big Soup's attempt to sell more cans of cream of mushroom. You're aware of this, right? 1950, Campbell's Soup Company.
But I think it would look, if you got a hit, you got a hit.
No, it is a hit. It is no doubt a hit. Everybody wants it at their table. Mm-hmm. I would personally rather put out a steamed vegetable of some sort. That is an actual vegetable.
Yeah. Where are we having dinner at 24-Hour Fitness?
What? Well, you have your green drink. That's your drink. Everybody has to have the
we all have
a
gluten-free muffin. Get out of here. Hold on. Hal, listen.
And for dessert, a peach.
Hal, there's a whole cream of verse, and I don't know how deeply you've delved into the cream of verse, because you only mentioned cream of chicken and cream of mushroom, which is the traditional classic, as you pointed out, created in the mid-20th century. Yeah. There is cream of celery. You can also make it the way that my mom makes it, which is with cream of cheddar soup, which, Hal Lublin, let me describe to you what this Thanksgiving side dish is.
Okay.
Imagine the cup of nacho cheese that comes with ballpark nachos.
Of course, I instantly.
Mixed with canned green beans and then topped with crispy onion bits. It is taking green beans, a vegetable, and turning them into a stack that an 8th grader would make. And you can do that. If you want to make a healthier version, you don't even have to do the cream of verse. You can skip that whole section entirely and just make some sort of green bean dish. I think it's too iconic.
Cream of cheddar? It's not cream of cheddar.
Cream of cheddar. Yeah.
Cream of cheddar. Why don't they just
Cream
call
of
it a
cheddar?
can of
That's
cheese
two
whiz?
different. Yeah, it's two different dairy-based things. You
Some
can't have
heart
cream
attack.
of. You know what cream of cheddar is? Whey. That's what cream of cheddar is.
Yeah, ask little Miss Tuffet. She knows.
Yeah. All right. Hold on. Can we have a bullpen?
Yeah, bullpen it. Yeah, yep.
No, I
We'll
mean,
put
not you and I go to the bullpen to hash things
To
out.
pitch
I mean,
stories and for TMZ.
yeah, we're,
Hey, what do you have for me, Mark? Oh, I got green bean casserole coming out of Spago.
no, can we put green bean casserole in the bullpen? And then if we decide to put green bean casserole in, make that the number 2. If we decide to go 3 and 2 on starch veg, then we put the green bean casserole in the second slot. We figure out what the primary veg slot is.
You're still getting too granular for me. Here, how about this? Let's put it in the bullpen. It's
All
going to do like a long toss right now. So it's just staying somewhat warm. It's not really getting ready to come in the game. Once we have our 5 sides established, then we can decide, should the green bean casserole supplant one of those? Like, it has the ability to do that. How's that sound?
Well, sure, it can supplant. It is a plant.
It has. That's true.
Supplant.
It is a plant that can supplant. Supplant.
You know what? When we come back to bring it back in. Oh, I'm bringing it back in.
We are back in.
All right.
We've been doing this.
No, I mean bring it. I mean bring it back in at the end.
Bring it back.
if
Oh, you
we-
think it's
yeah.
coming back in like wild?
I think it's coming back in. I don't think that green bean. I don't think we've seen the last of green bean casserole.
We're gonna hear Enter Sandman and green bean casserole is gonna come out of the bullpen. Close
Sleep
out.
with one eye open. Did that casserole just threaten me?
Yeah, that's good. Casserole's coming for you. All right,
All right.
I'll throw one out there
Yeah.
that I think is a part of every Thanksgiving table. Not something I enjoy, but I am willing to admit that it is popular enough that it should be at the table. That's cranberry sauce. Do you agree?
Yeah, I think you have to have cranberry sauce. Or how do we
Cranberry with cream of cheddar.
look? Can we be a little sneaky here and give ourselves a little extra room on the plate? Because cranberry sauce can be the jellied cranberry,
Yes.
but it can also be a sauce. And if we're putting gravy not as a side but a sauce,
So it is a sauce.
can we make cranberry sauce not a side but a sauce and give it an automatic through with gravy, and then we still have 5 sides?
What do you pour cranberry sauce on?
The turkey.
Do you?
Absolutely. You don't pour cranberry sauce on your turkey?
Lord, no. All right, hold on. Don't say nothing else, please, just for a second. Ken, if you're not otherwise engaged right now, will you just, yes or no, do you pour cranberry sauce on your turkey? Yes or no? Oh, he said no. Mark, you're alone on this.
No,
You're trying to sneak
hold
it in,
on.
and I respect
No.
that.
I'm going to the internet.
Oh, that's perfect. The internet, where you can also find WikiFeet, is going to be the place. I'm sure people do it. You can find people who do anything on there.
Cranberry sauce is absolutely perfect on turkey.
Who wrote that? Says
The
Mark
internet.
Gags 34.
That is Simply Recipes.
Simply Recipes. Whose
Yeah.
pocket are they in? Ocean Sprays?
Hold on a second. You know
Person who
what?
wrote that? The person who wrote that was arrested for food-related crimes. We just
You
found
don't
out.
you never put cranberry sauce on your turkey sandwich the next day?
No, never. I don't like cranberry sauce at all.
I'm
Not
just
in any way,
look,
shape, or
man.
form.
I'm just trying to get us cranberry's going to be in there. I'm just trying to get us an extra side dish. You don't want an extra side dish, then okay.
I think it should be there. Yeah, I don't think we should burn a slot for it. Especially when we have someone.
That's the only reason I said name it as a sauce, is I didn't want to burn a
I
slot
know
for it.
I know, but it is it. But
See,
it is,
thank you. Ken respects me and my life decisions.
Whatever, Ken. You also use the F word on our podcast, no less, that you have to bleep. It's very sad. Okay, so we got cranberry sauce
Stuffing.
and stuffing so far.
Yeah.
The bullpen, waiting in the bullpen, doing the long toss,
Yeah.
keeping their arm warm, is the green bean casserole. Mark, what else do you put in one of these slots?
Well, I don't know, because there are 2, and I don't know if they both deserve a slot.
Okay. Are they both starches?
They are both starches.
Is one
They're
sweet
both
version
potatoes,
of the other?
in fact. Yeah, it's mashed potatoes and sweet potatoes. it feels like or unless you make them so drastically differently. You know what I mean? Like the mashed potatoes are mashed potatoes, and the sweet potatoes, you do them like a baked potato. Or you do something different, or diced.
You do them as a casserole with brown sugar and pecans on them.
Sure, it's sweeter. The flavor profile is sweeter, but the texture is still identical. It still has the texture of mashed potatoes.
What about yams then? Yams and sweet potatoes are not the same thing. But
I would
yams
call
are
them
also
pretty interchangeable.
Yams are also very popular in that they're usually in chunks, yes?
I honestly don't know the difference between a yam and a sweet potato. I always kind of used them interchangeably. We never really had yams or talked about yams. We were just sweet potatoes growing up.
They are a little bit different, both in flavor profile and toughness, and I think maybe even size. They are similar to one another, but not the same. What if you did... No, I wouldn't do that. If we were going to put potatoes at the table, I'd want them to be mashed. I wouldn't want to do a baked potato and then try and get mashed sweet potatoes in there. I'm not
Here's what I'm going to throw out.
Either.
I love sweet potatoes, and I feel like sweet potatoes have to be on that table in some form. Here's what I posit then. If sweet potatoes need to be on this table in some form, we put mashed potatoes on the actual dinner time plate, and one of our dessert slots goes to sweet potato pie.
Oh, okay. I don't hate that.
Yeah, I think that works. I think that's a way to get both of them in there. Then we have one dessert slot left, which is going to be a tough battle. It's going to have to be the really top-notch victor to take the one remaining dessert slot, which I think it will be.
Okay, so right now, here's what we have. We got our stuffing / dressing. We've got cranberry sauce. We've got mashed potatoes. Here's something I'll throw. We have 2 slots remaining. There is, in some regions of this great land of ours, macaroni and cheese is a Thanksgiving staple. It was not for me growing up. Was it for you?
It was not for me growing up, but I do know a lot of people who love having mac and cheese on their Thanksgiving plate. And Annie just did a commercial for the Thanksgiving commercial where she had a Thanksgiving plate. And I was like, ooh, what does TV think goes on a Thanksgiving plate?
Right.
And it was all starches. It was green bean casserole, turkey, cranberry. And then there were 8 dishes on there. It was sweet potato, mashed potatoes, macaroni and cheese,
scrapple.
That's
a meat dish, but hash browns.
You know what? Scrapple is a meat that's pretending to be a carb. That's one of those reverse things from Gardein.
Gardein.
One of the many fine products available at Gardein.
You thought it was a piece of pumpkin loaf, but you took one bite and regretted everything. Gardein.
You knew it was mostly kidneys. Gardein.
Because we said
who knew that the liver of a rabbit tastes like a radish? Gardein did.
Gardein, are you sure that's broccoli?
Or brocchioli. That's right. It's lungs. All right.
I think macaroni and cheese should be at the table.
Okay. If that's the case, then this last one has got to be a green. We have to have something green.
Collard green?
It can't be all
mustard greens.
No, it's going to be no green. I've been thinking about it. No green is going to beat the green bean casserole.
What about
if we're going to put what?
What about corn?
Corn's fine. All of the corn makes half of the stuff on here.
It's got the juice.
Green. Corn's not green. It's yellow.
Can't imagine a more beautiful thing. It's corn.
Corn. A big hunk with knobs. It's got the juice.
It's got the juice.
Look, I love mac and cheese. There is no brightness on this plate. There's no salad. There's no...
So tan.
It's so tan.
So tan and fresh.
No, it's the opposite of fresh if it's tan.
Tan food.
So we have stuffing, mashed potatoes,
macaroni and cheese.
Mac and cheese.
There's bread also. Don't forget that.
Bread. So a cranberry sauce. Everything is sugar.
We got to get to 4,500 calories, bruh.
That's true. We got to go to green. Look, it's got to be green bean casserole then.
All right. I'm good with it. Green bean casserole.
Right. Get the old
what
GPC.
About corn? Now, how can we not have corn?
Because you wanted mac and cheese in there, man. Neither of us ever has mac and cheese with Thanksgiving, but just the notion of us, we're both like, yeah, mac and cheese. Do we really need it? Is mac and cheese a Thanksgiving? I think we had this discussion before. Is mac and cheese a Thanksgiving food, or is it a food that we love that we also have on Thanksgiving?
I keep thinking
The rest of these
about
feel like Thanksgiving food.
one of my favorite videos, which is the Don't Experiment on Thanksgiving.
Mm-hmm.
You've seen this video?
No, but I know the comedian you're talking about.
No, this is from a family's dinner.
Oh, really? No.
And there's a woman
I've seen a stand-up who did that.
who has done something different with the mac and cheese. And her aunt or her mother, grandmother, whoever it is, like, don't experiment on Thanksgiving. Don't experiment on Thanksgiving. You make it the way we make it.
Yeah.
And then she's like, I'm going to go take a nap. You watch all this. Like, this woman is punished for experimenting with the macaroni and cheese. And every time Jennifer and I, if we're planning a meal, and she's like, what if we change what I'm like, don't experiment on Thanksgiving.
Don't
That's not
experiment
the
on
time to
Thanksgiving.
try something new.
Yeah.
So I think just because we don't have it on our plate doesn't mean it isn't an important part of a number of people's Thanksgivings. That's why I wanted to include it. Do you think corn is an essential Thanksgiving food? Because it was at the first ever Thanksgiving table.
Look, man, you know I love history as much as anyone, but if we're going by history, it wasn't even a turkey. It was 2 deer. So
Right.
Yeah.
But I mean, there are things that harken back to. You don't recreate the whole meal.
I think 2 things. I think we've got the corn in cornbread form in the cornbread stuffing.
Okay.
And
Okay.
also, personally, I love roasted corn, but guess what? I like mac and cheese better. So
Okay.
if it is, you said it's a holiday. If you think the slightest excuse, I'm looking at this going, I'm trying to balance a meal, but the slightest excuse to be given to put macaroni and cheese over corn on this plate, I will take. And
Okay.
that excuse was given to me in the form of a lot of people have it.
Of permission.
Permission. That's all I needed, man. So we
Permission.
have our permission. We have our 5 sides: stuffing, cranberry, mashed potatoes, mac and cheese, and green bean casserole. We've got gravy. We've got our bread, which is the yeast roll. We've got 2 different proteins, turkey and vegetarian option. All we have left to do, Hal, is pick our final non-sweet potato pie, because that's already made it through dessert.
I made a mistake.
What?
I think we should have 4 desserts. I do. I think we should have. I think there's more than 2 desserts at a Thanksgiving table. Am I wrong?
Hal.
Am I wrong? Am I wrong?
Yeah.
Am I wrong? Is there
Hal,
more
all
than-
right.
How many?
I will meet you halfway. We can have 3 desserts.
Okay. 3 desserts plus sweet potato pie.
No, Hal. No.
Look, I'm
we have
hiding
3,
behind my mic.
3 desserts, including
Just
sweet
eyebrows.
potato pie. No,
Hopeful
I see
eyebrows.
your eyebrows. Don't you hide behind your mic shield. No, we get 2. We are having 2 extra desserts besides sweet potato pie.
Okay.
What's on your list? What do you want to? What do you
Apple
want?
pie.
Sure.
Not only because I used it as a catchphrase for 10 plus years, but I just love apple pie. And it's the dessert that I would want to have. Like, my dad loves it. I love it. We had it every year.
Yeah, and I'll throw pecan pie out there.
Oh, pumpkin
that
pie
was the one we
gets
had.
screwed.
Pumpkin
Screw
pie
you,
gets
pumpkin
screwed.
pie.
Yeah,
Oh, but pumpkin pie's so important.
yeah. But we only get 2 slots, Hal.
Do we? Or could we expand this? We got this with Mark and Hal. And not
Hey, Hal.
Mark and Hal and some invisible force. And brought to
Hal.
you by Gardein. Yes.
Look, here is what we have right now. We have a fruit pie with a crust top.
Yeah.
We have,
And vanilla ice cream to go on top of it.
sure, and vanilla ice cream to go on top.
Yeah.
We have a pecan pie
Love it.
with whipped cream to go on top.
Yeah, that's right.
And we have a
Potato pie.
pureed orange pie based on a low to the ground vegetable.
Oh. Jennifer loves pumpkin pie so much. I feel
With
like I'm
nutmeg and
risking it
cinnamon and clove and all of those delightful
stuff.
flavors in it. And may I say,
yes.
I know I said earlier I didn't want to use any specific brands, but we'll throw a brand out there. Some, let's say Starbucks, they probably have one. Pumpkin flavored whipped cream on top of the sweet potato pie.
Okay.
Will that be enough of the pumpkin flavoring?
I'm not a huge pumpkin pie fan, so it doesn't
neither.
really make a huge difference. Then to get, you know what? We're building this. If you don't like it, get your own podcast, everybody.
But we'll put the pumpkin whipped cream on top, so you can have some PSL.
Or maybe we won't. Maybe we won't. You don't know.
How?
Nothing
This
is
is for the
promised.
people of the world. We're setting
Tomorrow's
the
not
table
promised.
for the people of the world.
Tomorrow's not promised.
Yeah. Poor Jennifer. Poor Jennifer indeed, Ken Plume. But you know what? It sounds like we've made a pretty incredible plate, Hal.
We have people of the world.
Did we really eliminate? Ah, man.
Yeah, we did. People of the
Because
world.
sweet
you know
potato
what we
pie
do?
looks exactly. It's like forget
Yeah.
it. No, it's time. It's time.
Yeah, we have to settle it. You know what we do on this show, people of the world? We make tough decisions. You just saw it. We were agonizing. And there were things that you're throwing your phone at your couch and screaming because we didn't say something that is a staple of your Thanksgiving dinner. And all I can say is sorry for your bad luck, because this is now the Thanksgiving table that everybody should put together. Yours may vary, but the best one, the perfect Thanksgiving table has the proteins. Mark, hit us.
Mm-hmm. The proteins are turkey and a vegetarian protein option.
Hit me with those 5 sides one more time.
Those 5 sides are stuffing, cranberry sauce, mashed potatoes, mac and cheese, and green bean casserole.
And those 3 desserts?
Those 3 desserts are apple pie, pecan pie, and sweet potato pie with pumpkin whipped cream.
Asked and answered. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. Ho, ho, ho,
Happy
ho, ho, ho.
Wait, Santa's here. That means we can eat. That means the parade's over and football's starting.
Go Lions.
Well, Santa, this time... Santa's a Lions fan. This topic is closed, but there are many more topics to discuss, so please reach out to us via email at wegotThisPodcast@gmail.com, or...
We'd be very thankful if you visited us and followed us on all the other social media at We Got This Podcast, except for Instagram, where we are at We Got This Show. And of course, if you're not a member of our Facebook group, and I see people joining who've been listening to this show since episode 1 and are just becoming part of the community, you are all welcome, you are all loved, and it is the best place on the internet to be. Facebook.com/groups/We Got This Podcast is the place to go. We are very thankful for our producer, Ken Plume, our researcher, Kate McManus, our graphic designer, Uri Kelman, and our QA engineer, Jen Alba.
And of course, we are thankful for our musicians, Jonathan Dinerstein and Mike Furman, for our score and theme song, respectively. And this Thanksgiving, let's sit around the table and let you know that we are thankful for you for giving us every opportunity to sit down and have these table discussions week after week. We love to have the discussions with you. We love that you bring this whole community together. I can't wait to break bread with you. We're going to have a great big meal, and it's going to have all of these sides and maybe a few extra, because we were, maybe we were a little draconian in our number. If it's our meal, we can have as many as we want. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. Already breaking the promise that we would settle this.
Yeah.
It's bold. I like it.
I'm not breaking any promises. Yeah. Yeah. You know what? This will be for Max Fun Drive next year. We'll have extra Thanksgiving sides. That'll be the bonus.
You can unlock it if we get enough people supporting us. We will allow you to have more sides at your Thanksgiving table.
Right. The point is, thank you, thank you, thank you. For Hal Lublin, I'm Mark Gagliardi.
For Mark Gagliardi, I'm Hal Lublin. And don't worry, everybody. We got this.
We got this.
Maximum Fun,
a worker-owned network
of artist-owned shows
supported
directly
by you.